You know what it is. That's right. It's time to talk money with your money nerd and financial coach. Now, tighten those purse strings and open those ears. It's the Money Talk with Tiff podcast.
Hey everyone, I am so excited because I have Mikey T on the line. Now, Mikey T, we are internet buddies. We've never met in person, but he is a phenomenal filmmaker. And I wanted him to come on the podcast to talk about the business side of filmmaking and what that looks like. So, hey, Mikey T, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to bring you on because this is something completely different that I've never, ever talked about on the podcast, but I think is something important because I know that I have creatives and other people that are interested in the film industry listening to the podcast. So let's just hop right in. First and foremost, in your words, what is filmmaking?
In my words, well, the simplest thing that got me into filmmaking was I wanted to have a conversation and discussion about the importance of Jamaicans worldwide going back and investing time as well as money into Jamaica. And instead of having that conversation one by one, having a film gave me the ability to be able to have that conversation with thousands to hopefully millions of people because it was recorded, it was documented, and it was properly placed in order to be able to capture people's attention and their imagination. So filmmaking is just a great way to be able to have a conversation with somebody who may not be in the same space as you. For me.
I love that. And speaking of, because you mentioned Jamaica, do you currently live in Jamaica or where are you located?
Well, right now I'm hybrid between Westmoreland, the Negril area, and New York. So my biggest dream is to move to Jamaica and not retire, but live. I want to raise my family there. I want to build my legacy. I want to be a part of the economy, and I want to be a part of the growth of Jamaica. I don't want to just, spend 30, 40 years working and giving all my good self, not to say anything, but all my good years and my young prime years to a place and then come to Jamaica to sit down and relax. I'd rather give that energy towards Jamaica as I build up myself as well.
Yes, I love that. And just because I know you kind of personally, I said we're internet buddies, but you specialize in films about Jamaica. Is that correct?
Yes. So basically my elevator pitch is I'm so in love with my Jamaican culture that I believe it should be taught in academia across the world. And so much so that I'm investing my time and my money to develop and tell stories that can be the foundation of conversations that can change the world surrounded around my Jamaican culture.
Gotcha. And I love that you used elevator pitch because, like I said, we probably have other people interested in filmmaking listening. How important is it to have that elevator pitch so you can tell maybe investors or stakeholders or your audience exactly what you're trying to do?
It's very important because in this world, especially in today's world with social media, everybody is so go, go, go. You need to have a concise way to tell them all the information that you want them to have without them checking out. So it'll be like, oh, I do experimental films about horror, and I did this one film that they might check out. And if you think about most events, networking happens in such a short period of time because the events is usually surrounded around the speaker or the workshop or the events that are going on. Networking happens so concise and there's so many people there. People might not have 5-10 minutes for you to get to the gist of what it is exactly that you do. You kind of need to hit them with it at the beginning. And if they are interested, then they will stop and they will listen.
That is so true. And I know, when you're passionate about something, sometimes it comes out like that, like how you just started and you was like, yeah, and I did a film one time.
No, it is because and that's the thing. And that's a great thing to have. And as an investor, I know they look for somebody who has that passion. But the whole point is when we stand up and we're meeting, I don't know you. You don't know me. why should I stop and take my time, this limited amount of time that I have, and donate to you?
That is so true. And so, what other mistakes do you see filmmakers make when they are dealing with the business side of things?
I think the biggest mistakes that filmmakers make is thinking that their passion for art is enough for somebody to go into their wallet and take out money. I'm not saying that art isn't important, but remember, you are trying to convince somebody that they can put their money into anything. They can buy candy and they can hit their real quick dopamine hit immediately. Or, there's anything that they could put their money into. The question is, how do you create a symbiotic relationship between that investor and your film? And how do you make them feel confident that you know what you're doing? Because, oh, I have this idea and I think it would be super cool if, and a whole bunch of people would like it. And my auntie and my mom told me yes. That doesn't speak to an investor.
Yeah, that is true. Because I'm like, if I had some money and somebody came to me and they were like, well, my family said this was a good idea. And, when you're talking to investors, they want to know how they're going to get their money back, usually. Whether it's from royalties or from, how does that work? So, speaking of that, how do you typically go about that? Like when you're approaching investors, what do you do to remedy that? Because I know you love the art, but how
Yeah.
do you strike that balance?
I haven't gotten to the point of reaching out to investors yet. Every film, everything that I've posted, all the content that I've posted have come out of my pocket, because I see the vision and I understand. And what I'm trying to build up, if it even isn't financial ROI that somebody eventually, when I look to partner, that partners with me, there will at least be a social ROI. So there's different ROIs. Not every film is going to make back the amount of money that they spent. They're not going to all get to net profitability. That is a very tricky situation to be in. And that is all dependent on the budget that you start out with, the marketing budget, the production budget, those type of things. So what I'm doing right now, or what I'm in the process of doing, is increasing my social capital and increasing my social ROI that I can be able to offer to somebody that maybe has enough money, but is looking to break out into a different field or a different space, whether that may be philanthropy, whether that may be they want more social impact when it comes to when people see their brand. Those are the type of things that I try to find, because, money is everywhere and we get taught the scarcity mindset. But as you grow and you learn, you're like, oh, there's a lot of money out there, but there has to be something else that returns on above that capital and above that dollar amount.
I see what you mean. Because I was going to ask you, to dive into that and kind of explain social capital, but I think I understand you correctly. So let me see if I can break it down for the audience. You're saying you want to see if you can find investors or partners that are interested in just being attached to the film because it's a good film and it's something that's good for not only the community, but also, maybe the environment, whatever the case may be, but it's something that is socially good. So it's just something good to be attached to. Did I get that right?
Basically, people with large sums of money know how to make money, but there is a perception part of business. And it's my hint and my belief that in the 80s and 90s, business was so cutthroat that in the 2000s and the 2010s, that's when shows like Shark Tank and shows like Billion Dollar Buyer and The Profit came along to kind of change the social image of a business leader. Because in the 90s, if you were in business and you had the suit, you were cutthroat, you were a shark, and you were coming to take whatever you can get and leave anything in your wayside for the profit. But to combat that, businesses have started bringing in a social responsibility that is attached to their business. Hey, We're a sustainability company. Even though we make clothes, we try to make sure that we do accept returns and then we recycle them to make new clothes and stuff like that, because people are starting to be more socially conscious. People are starting to look into businesses. Where do they dump their waste? Where do their profits go? Who do they invest in? Who do they put their money behind when it comes to political campaigns? So not only are businesses looking to make money, they're looking to make sure that they stay in that social good graces of the customer in their target market.
That is so true. I actually just finished teaching a 10-week course on sustainable investing for Black women. Shout out to Invest for Better for sponsoring that. But yeah, people are more interested in what are these companies doing to help the environment, to help society. And that's where they're putting their money now. So I love that you're already starting to think that far ahead on this side of things in the filmmaking world. And kind of going after that target as well.
Yeah, no, it's funny, and it's as media changes and as entertainment changes. Before, the only way to get into the film industry was to get a big blockbuster and to be in the movie theaters. But now you have streaming, now you have YouTube, now you have TikTok. I didn't realize, but there is a market and there is a new micro market when it comes to content creation and series, where apparently it's taken over in Asia, where I don't know if you've been scrolling through TikTok or YouTube Shorts, where you have these, it's cheesy now, but I think they do it, these little cheesy stories. And you're like, oh, wait, this isn't a 30-second YouTube short. And it's telling this story, and it's cut and it's edited in the vertical form for short-term content. But apparently what they do is they give you that free episode. And then if you want to continue watching after that, you can either buy each episode, or you could subscribe to the app, and then you would have access to the full series. And this full series would be in that vertical format instead of the horizontal format that we're used to.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Mikey, about how social media and just the internet in general has been connecting us all over the world when it comes to filmmaking. A few years ago, there was a series that I watched on YouTube. They had the whole series on there, but it was Togolese. So it was from Togo in Africa. And I don't know French, so of course I had to watch it with the captions on, but it was a really good show. And to the point where I was waiting for each episode drop. As soon as they dropped, I was ready to watch it. And so I love that you brought that up. And it's amazing how now we are so connected with hearing different stories from different countries and experiencing, everybody's art. And so with that being said, I know you have a few projects in the works or out, maybe coming up. Can you give us a little bit more about those?
So of course, my first project and my first experiment that sent me into the world of filmmaking is Jamaica Story. Jamaica Story is my documentary speaking towards the importance of Jamaicans worldwide and those who love Jamaica, investing time as well as money into the country if we want to see things get better, and to be able to create opportunities and to be able to preserve culture. I did a little documentary short with Jamaican Owned and Operated, which is a Facebook group hosted by Mitzi Memphis. And Missy was just so amazing. And the work that she was doing with the group, Jamaican Owned and Operated, just made me feel so good and made me feel like, oh, there are people who understand the importance of the almighty tourism dollar and that it gets outside of the resorts. So we did a documentary speaking towards that and speaking towards the people that are making the change in Jamaican owned and operated businesses. Then I have another documentary short called Real Jamaican Food, which stars Peter Ivy, which is Jamaica's leading food security activist. And he speaks about the importance of us as Jamaicans looking at our local crops and cooking them in different and innovative ways so that we don't have to run down Burger King and KFC and all those fast food places overspending while not getting the nutrients that we need. My first narrative short, Beg You a Call, starring Raul Blaze and Everardo Kiri, is going through its series of festivals entries right now. I'm seeing which ones we get into. It's a short 8-minute film that speaks to the importance of family and friendship, especially when people end up overseas. And have a couple of events that I've recorded that I'm turning into little mini documentaries about those events right now.
I absolutely love that. And y'all, I have watched every single one that he has talked about so far. And I am a huge fan. I love the social justice lens, the economic justice lens that you have on, like, you know, some of your films, the food insecurity, like all of these things just talk to me. And I love that you capture them so wonderfully from a Jamaican point of view. And I just wanted to, look, I'm over here fangirling myself, right? But I'll make sure that I have all those links in the show notes, the stuff that you are able to watch right now that has been released. And I appreciate you so much, Mikey, for coming on the show today and talking to us about filmmaking, the business side of filmmaking, but also the social side of filmmaking.
Thank you so much for having me. And I know you have your email list. Jamaica Story is live on YouTube, so that would be able to be in the comments. But to your private email list, I can send you the links to Real Jamaican Food and Beg You a Call with the password protected link, so that your guests would be able to get a sneak peek of those films.
Yay! That is awesome. So y'all hear that? You have to be on the email list in order to get those special links. So definitely check out the email list. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for that exclusive for my audience. I greatly appreciate it. And I know they'll love it because I know I loved it when you shared it with me. So thank you so much. And if people wanted to just follow you in general, where could they find you?
So I guess now that this makes me old, which hurts my heart, but I am an Instagram guy. So I'm on Instagram mostly, and that's where you'll get the most responses from me, besides my email, of course, which I'll give you. But my Instagram is Mikey T, MIKEYT Speaks, SPEAKS, Mikey T Speaks, and Jamaica Story, as I have a Instagram page. And then my email is mikeytspeaks@gmail.com. And then my little website that we got to talk to about revamping. We spoke about it, but you know, we're gonna get it done this year. We're definitely gonna get it done before the end of the year. MikeySpeaks.com.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely will. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to put all those links in the show notes. And just to make you feel a little better, you're saying Instagram's all. My main place is Facebook. So there we have it.
You see, I love Facebook too, because I don't know, TikTok and everything just seems so, it's kind of too short for me, and even Instagram at times. But like when I'm on Facebook, like you feel like you can write a very long, informative post, and if you like and you connect with that post, you just hit the share button. Like I feel like Instagram and TikTok make it way too complicated to share a thought-provoking thing, and then you can't look things up on there. That's another thing I don't like about IG and TikTok.
See, that's why, like I said, I'm an OG, triple OG. I love Facebook. I love writing. I'm a writer, so Facebook is my medium.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And I'm sure you're probably on LinkedIn too.
Yeah, a little bit. LinkedIn kind of gets on my nerves because it's a lot of salespeople on there. So every time I go, I get just overwhelmed with sales stuff, and then I get off. So not really too much on LinkedIn, honestly.
Yeah, I get you.
So anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
I hope you have a wonderful day too. Thank you so much for having me again.
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening, joining, and being a part of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast this week. You can check Tiff out every Thursday for a new Money Talk podcast. But if you just can't wait until next week, you can listen to previous podcast episodes at moneytalkwitht.com or follow Tiff on all social media platforms at Money Talk with T. Until next time, spend wise by spending less than you make. A word to the money wise is always sufficient.